Index funds, index funds, index funds. What is going on, guys? That is what we're going to be talking about in this video here today. As I've said on this channel a number of times, and as a lot of YouTubers have said, index funds can be a great investment for your portfolio for a lot of different reasons, especially if you're someone that maybe doesn't know enough about individual companies or doesn't really want to spend the time researching individual companies. Whatever the case may be, maybe you just pick index funds, and that can be great because you can still average an 8 to 10% return, and it's definitely better than just leaving all your cash sitting in a bank account where your money is just going to be devalued. But here today, we're going to do something a little bit different, okay? So let me start off by saying I'm still a big proponent of index funds. I own index funds. I really like index funds. But we're going to be talking about why maybe index funds are bad and why they might not be the best thing for you to do. And we're going to go into some pretty detail here, and I'm pretty excited to get into it, guys. So I hope you get some value out of this. I hope you enjoy this video. If you guys do like this video, if you've been enjoying this content, make sure to drop a like as always. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. These two things really help out the channel in a massive, massive way. It really helps the channel grow, and it really helps satisfy the YouTube algorithm we are working with here today. So the first reason that maybe index funds might not be the best place for your money and why they're bad is because, guys, when you invest in an index fund, and this is honestly going to be the hard truth, you don't have control over your money. So what do I mean by that exactly? So basically, when you put your money in an S&P 500 index fund, you're essentially investing in all 500 of those companies, right, that make up that index, which this is good, but this can also be bad. So it's bad because, like I just said, it's every stock, which means chances are there's going to be some company that maybe you don't like and that you're not a fan of. So maybe it's Apple, maybe it's Amazon, maybe it's Google, maybe it's MasterCard. I don't know why you would really hate any of those companies, but some people do. Everyone has different opinions. There's probably going to be a stock in there you don't like. So let's say you look into Amazon, right? And you don't like the business model. Why you wouldn't like the business model? I have no idea. I don't know why you wouldn't, but let's say you're someone that does not like Amazon's business model, you don't like the company, you don't like Jeff Bezos, whatever the case may be, you don't like it. Well, when you put your money in an index fund, you're buying Amazon. You are buying it along with 499 other companies, but you're buying Amazon. So instead of maybe putting your money in an index fund where you're buying Amazon, a little bit of a company you don't like, you can just take that money and put it in an individual company like Apple. Same thing, maybe you don't like MasterCard. Maybe you don't like MasterCard, you don't like the management team after looking into it, after doing your research. So instead of putting that money into an index fund where you're investing in a company and that percentage of the money that you're putting in is not controllable and it's going into a company you really don't like, you can take that money and you can put it in an individual company, one that you really like and one that you really believe in the long term. Okay, guys, so the second reason that index funds might not be the best place for your money and you might want to stop putting your money in them is because of diversification. So now this might be a little confusing to you guys and you might have absolutely no idea what I mean, because I've said tons of things on this channel like you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, you want to be diversified, you really don't want to buy the needle in the haystack, you might as well just buy the haystack. But why am I coming back and saying diversification might not be the best thing now, okay? So basically diversification is good, but too much diversification is not good. And what's going to happen when you're over diversified, guys? Your returns are going to be limited. You're not going to be able to get the returns you want because you're going to be limited. You're going to have too many winners and too many losers, and ultimately they're just going to balance out. According to the modern portfolio theory, I'll post it on the screen right now if I can find it. I did read an article on this on Investopedia. If I can find it, you're looking at it right now. It says that 20 stocks is the top diversified portfolio they should have. Just 20 stocks. And even after that, after 20 stocks, it really does not improve your returns, and it's really not that great anymore, guys. That's the truth. So like I just said, this means your returns are going to be limited. You're not going to be able to get the most optimal returns that you can get. But if you pick individual companies, you could see an 100% return in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I can tell you right now, I'm up over 200% on Square. Well, I actually sold that position for a lot of different reasons, but I was up over 200% on Square. I was up over 200% on Upwork. There was another company or two that I think I was up 100% on. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but there's some I was up 80% on. There's some I was up 70% on. You're not going to see those returns in index fund. There's no way that the S&P is going to go from 3,000 to 6,000 in a year. And believe me, if it does, guys, that's a problem that you probably want to look into, because that's not good for the market, because that's like bubble territory, like 10.0, okay, guys? So that's what we're trying to get at here. You're going to be limited your returns because you're going to be over diversified if you put all your money in an index fund. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. Like I'm going to say probably another 100 times throughout this video, there's nothing wrong with index funds. I own index funds. I feel comfortable owning index funds. I just feel like having some in my portfolio is important. But I am definitely putting more and more money into these individual companies because it's becoming clearer and clearer that an index fund is over diversified. Now, you're still gonna make money in the long term, so if you are buying index funds, don't just stop and sell out everything because there's really no need to. But again, I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here in this video, and I'm just showing you the other side of the coin because guys, every coin has two sides, right? So guys, to really put this into perspective, I had this example on the board here. And for this example, we're gonna use someone who has $10,000 currently in their portfolio. They're gonna make an annual addition of $5,000 per year, okay? And they're gonna do that for 30 years, and where's this portfolio gonna come out to? And this was calculated by a compound interest calculator. I don't know if I'm gonna post pictures on the screen or not. If you guys wanna go plug these numbers in, just Google compound interest calculator and it's gonna come right up. You can do that if you wanna check my math. So, let's say someone puts their money in an index fund, right? They put their money in an index fund and they do that, like I just said, $10,000 portfolio, they put an additional $5,000 in every year for 30 years, okay? And they see an 8% return. We'll start on the lower end, so 8%. That person's gonna have their portfolio grow to $712,000 over this 30-year period. So that's pretty good, right? Like $750,000. You think like a lot of people would be like, I wish I had $750,000 when I was 50, 60, 70, whatever they are. So some people might be watching this and they would be saying, wow, $712,000, that's pretty good, pretty good. Now, let's say you get the higher end of that. Let's say you get the 10% return because index funds usually return somewhere between 8 and 10% usually. So let's say you get 10%. What's that gonna come out to? That's gonna come out to 1.08 million. We're gonna round up here. We're gonna say 1.1 million, okay? So now you're thinking, wow, a millionaire. I can be a millionaire if I just put my money in an index fund. A millionaire, wow. Think about that, guys. You can be a millionaire if you just put your money in an index fund. Think about that. Now, let's say you're someone that wants to pick individual companies, okay? You're someone that wants to pick individual companies and you just outperform the market by 2% every year, just 2%, 2%. That comes out to about 1.6 million, guys, okay? So just by outperforming the market 2%, you made more than 50% more money than you would make right here if you received a 10% return. You more than doubled if you made an 8% return, guys. So now, let's say you get 20%. And guys, 20% is very attainable, trust me. I know, like in Jeremy's private group, I see a lot of people that consistently get 20, 30% returns. This is very attainable, guys, if you're willing to put in the work. So let's say you are someone like that, you're willing to put in the work, you've decided, you know what, I really want to retire early, I really just want to put my money in the best places possible. I think individual companies is the best, so you really hammer down, you start reading the 10Ks, you start reading the 10Qs, you start listening to conference calls, you just go at it every single day, and you receive an average of 20% return. Do you know what that number comes out to, guys? Do you know what that number comes out to? $9.5 million in 30 years. So now you have to ask yourself, do you want to take the easy route? Or are you willing to put in the work? It's up to you guys to decide. Now let me be clear here. Am I telling you guys that if you invest in index funds and you like index funds, just sell off your investments immediately and start putting your money into random individual companies? Absolutely not. No way am I telling you guys to do that. Absolutely not. But say you're someone where that 8 to 10% just isn't doing it for you. You want to see better returns and you want to be, I erased it already, but instead of 712,000, you want to be more towards that maybe 2 or 3 million mark in 30 years. Maybe consider reading a 10Q or a 10K. Just go through it to see what it's like. Just get to terminology down. Like start with a company like Apple, a very well-known company that everyone really understands the business model and it's a very easy business model to understand. Or maybe Amazon, something like that. Everyone understands Amazon's business model. That's very easy to understand in my personal opinion. But in no way should you just sell off all your index funds. And you also have to make the decision that's best for you. Maybe you don't have the time and it's just not appealing to you to go and look into individual companies. Maybe you just don't want to be that guy that's getting up early and reading the 10K or the 10Q. Maybe you just want to watch Netflix every night. But the bottom line here, and guys, you have to do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. You got to make decisions for yourself, what's best for you. But the point is, whether it's individual companies or index funds, and again, there's nothing on the board, I erased it, but you can get to anything you want, anywhere in life just by investing. It's that easy, guys. Whether it's an index fund or it's individual companies. Not everyone wants 3 to 5 million. No, not everyone wants that. But everyone wants the freedom of a job. Everyone wants that relief that they don't have to worry about financial stress anymore. Everyone wants that, guys. And if you really don't want the stress and you like living paycheck to paycheck, I mean, all right, never met anyone like that, but if you like it, I mean, hey, to each his own, right? But most people just want that relief. And investing is a perfect way to do it, guys. All right, guys, and the last reason that we're gonna talk about that maybe index funds aren't the best place for your money is because when you invest in individual companies, you're gonna be held accountable. Now, what do I mean by that? You're gonna have to pay attention to what's going on in the world. You're gonna have to pay attention to what's going on in politics. Maybe you're gonna spend more time reading on CNBC about all these different things going on. Maybe you'll be a little more informed about what's going on in the world. It's a very strong chance that you might get to this point, guys. And why? Why are you gonna pay more attention to these things? What's the reason behind it? It's because they affect your investments, and you don't want to lose money. No one wants to lose money by any means. I don't think I've ever met anyone that just likes losing money. It's not a good feeling ever. But if you spend the time looking into individual companies, you're gonna be up to date with more things that happen in the world. It's just the fact of the matter, because they're gonna affect your investments. You're gonna wanna know what's gonna happen if Joe Schmo gets elected president. How's that gonna affect this sector that I'm invested in? What's gonna happen if, Johnny Smith gets elected this next year, because that's gonna affect this investment in this section I have invested in this industry. Or maybe if he gets elected, it's gonna benefit this industry, so maybe I wanna look into that. Your mind's just gonna change. I can't even describe it, guys. It's ridiculous. Since I've started picking individual stocks, my mindset has changed ridiculously. I can tell you I'm way, way, way more educated than I've ever been since I started picking individual companies back in the day, whenever that was. I'm not exactly sure when that was. It wasn't overly long ago, but since I started doing it, I've definitely learned a lot about myself, about the world, about anything you can imagine, guys. I would really actually recommend that you take maybe even a small percentage of your portfolio and just start looking into individual companies. One, because you're gonna see better returns, as we talked about, but two, just the educational aspect that comes to it. You're gonna expand your terminology, you're gonna expand your vocabulary, you're gonna learn a lot more about the world, about business in general, and you're gonna learn a lot of different things that are gonna help you in life, guys. And that's what I honestly would recommend. But again, I'm in no way a financial advisor, so make sure you're doing your own research and your own due diligence. Absolutely. Always do that yourself. But it's also going to teach you how to read between the lines on certain things. So here's the example I'm going to use. Remember when Trump first got diagnosed with the virus and he was taken out of the White House to that hospital? So people were saying, oh, no big deal. It's just a precautionary. I was saying, I was able to read between the lines. I was saying, there is absolutely no way he should leave the White House because he has everything he could ever need in that White House. He should not be leaving. Something is definitely wrong. And what happened? I was right. There was something wrong. He was on oxygen. He needed more help. But obviously the press didn't want that to get out because they didn't want people to panic. But I could read between the lines, and I don't think I would have done that if I was not investing in individual companies, because it taught me how to read between the lines. It taught me how to look into a business. It taught me what good things come out of a business. It taught me what businesses want you to think and what's actually happening. I learned all that from investing in individual companies, and I'm going to carry that with me most likely for the rest of my life, and I'm very thankful for it. But like I've said a couple of times, guys, it just changed my entire mindset, and it's actually, I can't even believe how much it's done for me looking into companies constantly like I do today. But like I said before, I still own index funds. I think there's always going to be a place for index funds in my portfolio. Like I've said a couple times in this video, I just feel comfortable holding them. I feel comfortable buying them. I feel like it's a very safe investment. And it's something, if you don't like individual companies, if you don't like researching, I think it's something everyone should own. But there's more to investing than just index funds that a lot of YouTubers come out and say. So that's the bottom line, and like I said, I just kind of wanted to show you the other side of the coin, because there's always two sides of the coin, guys. There's always two. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Those two things really help out the channel in a huge, huge way, and I appreciate every single one of you that do that for me, because it really does help me out. Let me know down in the comments if you pick individual stocks or if you pick index funds, why you pick what you pick, and what is your preference behind them. And I will see you guys in the next video.